Hey guys, and welcome to the How to Heart Show. Today is really cool because I struggled a lot with my health, and a few months ago I got in contact with wheat oil, so THC and CBD, and I struggled a lot with my health, and plus my nervous system was always overreacting. So I discovered that oil, and that changed my life forever because my nervous system is way calmer. I sleep a lot better, and I don't get addicted to it. And that's the plus point. And it's natural. It's really powerful. But I don't have really the knowledge about to talk about it. But I find it so fascinating that to have more knowledge and deeper conversation. So I brought in Brandon Nichol, if I say your last name correct.
Yes, that's it.
And and yeah, I discovered him on LinkedIn. It was really funny because I was scrolling and I was looking, and then I saw his name and also with the THC and CBD, but I clicked away. But something in me told me like you need to go back. So I went back. I connected with Brandon, and it's like, hey, let's do a podcast because this is so powerful, and especially what Brandon is doing. So here we are, super excited to have you on the show, Brandon. So yeah, I'm looking forward for this conversation and go deeper in what you do and what you can share more about it. So
Oh,
welcome.
thank you so much, Vincent. It's great to be here. Yeah, we focus in CBD. We really it's a family-owned business. It's my dad and and I joined a little over a year and a half ago and have expanded the network. What really interested me about CBD is how it helped people transfer from taking pharmaceutical medication, growing dependent on pharmaceuticals. While they can be beneficial and save lives, it can be damaging to the body over a long period of time, and they are habit forming. So I want to be able to offer the people who are struggling with that a natural alternative, a natural supplement, if you will. And CBD was a great path to go down and invest time and money in. We don't do THC; we just focus in CBD. So it's a non-psychoactive molecule that's part of the cannabis plant. And CBD, that's the abbreviated name. It's really cannabidiol is the full name of that molecule. So we not only do we do CBD products, but we also do a CBN, which is cannabinol, and we also do CBG, which is cannabigerol. So, and those three different molecules, there's thousands of molecules. Those three are the ones that we really promote and share with our community and our network, and how it can really transform your health routine.
Awesome. So can you also share with us in a nutshell who you are, and you explain a little bit what you do, but can you share with us a little bit more about yourself?
Absolutely. So, really, my background is vast. I'm a musician at heart. I've been playing music my whole life. Giant fan of music, collecting records and playing in multiple bands. And I went to school for music as well. But a lot of my work career has been in customer service, retention, acquisition, face to face relationship building, retail. So all of these skills were transferable into what I'm now doing with growing a sales business, really an entrepreneur. Um, so all of those skills, the relationship building and face to face interactions, cold calling, door to door, that all transferred into what I now do, and uh, it's really been more valuable than I ever imagined having all that past experience. Sometimes you get yourself into a position and it's like, I don't know how this is going to apply to a job I have in the future, but these things, it all does come around. So that's really my background. I got interested in what my dad was doing while I was managing a record store. So the record store was a great job, but there really wasn't any place to grow from there. And that was a family owned business too. And so I started having conversations with my dad. And mind you, my dad started the CBD business as a side business. His main thing is really commercial flooring. But the reason why he started up D&D CBD is because he saw a lot of his friends declining in their mental health, physical, mental, due to pharmaceutical prescription medications, opioids, big opioid epidemic, and he's actually helped a lot of his friends and people and those friends of friends, uh, you know, kind of nip that opioid addiction, transfer over to CBD, and it's changed quite a few of their lives, and it's profound. We need more of those stories and those transformations to happen before CBD really lands on the map as something that has a tremendous amount of credibility, I think. But these miracle stories do happen. Sometimes you hear stories from people saying, I had skin cancer on the top of my head, and it was serious, and topicals and medicines and treatments from the doctor. But you take a little bit of CBD and put it on there, something miraculous happens. We've heard stories like that, or even more extreme than that, cancer inside the body, and taking CBD and other cannabinoids has eliminated, and they go back to the doctor, and they're completely stunned on what happened, and they have no explanation for it. So there is a lot of room for study. There's a lot of miracle stories like that. The problem is there's no factual proof that, how can this happen? And people live on factual proof, or at least the majority do. So it's going to take a bit of time for that research to develop and for people to start taking this a lot more seriously. But we are on the upswing. We're on the right path. Um, and there's much to be discovered. But yeah, after having several conversations with my dad, he decided, hey, let's go into business together. And, we work together quite well. We're on the same page most of the time, and it's been a really great journey. I've learned a tremendous amount about the business world, how people do business, how people talk to one another, the importance of following up, the importance of networking and expanding your network through relationship building. So all of that comes into play in this industry, and it's a growing industry.
Yeah, it's really powerful. Like I said, once I struggle a lot with my nervous system, and once I discovered it, and it was really funny. I found it on social media, and somebody was also talking about it. Excuse me, was talking about it, and a part of me said I really need to do this, but he was blocked from social media, and then he came back, and I felt again like I really need to do it. So I right away I made a message to him like, hey, I want to try it, and I feel so much better. Like I said, my nervous system was always overreacting with women, or I need to do something that's really overwhelming. I take a small drop and I feel relaxed really fast.
Yeah,
So it's super, super powerful. And I'm really grateful that I have it. And Brandon, my question that came up to me was, what was the reason that your father got interested in the CBD?
sure. Great question. Well, he had a friend who is trying these transdermal patches, which we now own that formula. Before it was part of a different company before we bought them out. Um, and these transdermal patches, it's a 24-hour patch, waterproof. Um, it's a blend of CBD extract and other botanicals. But my dad's friend was like, you got to try this. And my dad's like, okay, it was a good friend. It wasn't like it was just somebody random, that my dad didn't know. It was a good friend of his, and tried out the patch. And my dad has been working out his whole life, weight training, keeps himself in great shape. But naturally, with that, you're going to have physical pain. You're going to, he did a lot in his youth, so really the reason he's using the patch is for increased mobility, reduced inflammation, pain relief, pain management. And put the patch on after a couple weeks of using them, daily use. Every 24 hours you put a new patch on. he noticed, wow, this is making a tremendous difference in my workout recovery, and decided to, okay, let me invest in this. Let me look into this. So that was really the brainchild of D&D CBD, was our proprietary item, the transdermal patch. 16 and a half milligrams of CBD, transdermal into the bloodstream, released over a 24-hour period. They're waterproof. They also contain white willow bark and cat's claw, which you could say are nature's natural aspirins, CoQ10 and black pepper extract for delivery. It's a really unique item. We do use a medical grade adhesive on them, but it's really that formula, that patch, that really made, the birth of D&D CBD. That's why my dad decided to invest in it and look into it more.
And how was it so far? If there was a lot of setbacks, or you start to say, okay, this is not going to work out, or you always believed in the product of Mother Nature?
Oh, great question. My dad actually, he's been in sales his whole life. He had incredible success right off the bat, promoting the patch. And it really took off for a while. So there was a period in the 2010s where, before cannabis was legalized recreationally, when I say cannabis, I'm referring to recreational marijuana. Um, so anybody who took THC or smoked THC or ate THC, was buying off the black market, of course, illegally.
Mhm.
This is what has been done for decades, of course. Um, so my dad, there was a period that my dad had in the mid 2010s where CBD was exploding, very popular. It was doing really well in stores, health food stores. Um, and it was kind of a fad, it was a bit of a trend, and it was doing really well, and people were excited about it. There's a couple setbacks to that now. One of them is, CBD you could buy in gas stations, and you don't know the source of the hemp. It doesn't have a certificate of analysis. You can't see the lab test results. Where is this coming from? Is it olive oil? Is it something else entirely? So people had bad experiences with that. Maybe it got them high. Maybe there was THC in it and they didn't know about it. Maybe there was Delta 8 or something, some other molecule that is psychoactive. So people had bad experiences that way. And then there's also the experiences that, oh, it wasn't potent. It didn't do anything for me. This stuff is fake. It doesn't work. So CBD kind of got into people's heads, that it was like, well, what is this? Does it really work? Really, when they were trying something that wasn't potent or wasn't really certified or of high quality, high standard, which is not their fault because it was just so readily available at that time and everybody was trying it. Now, you fast forward to today, and CBD sales have slowed down across the board. Health food stores, people where places where people used to go buy these products, sales have slowed down tremendously, and a lot of that has to do with the advent of recreational marijuana. So even in THC dispensaries, I'm speaking for New York now. Um, I'm located in New York State, Long Island, and really what's happened is they sell CBD in these recreational cannabis places, but it's a very small percentage of people who actually are purchasing the CBD. The THC sales are much higher. People much prefer to get high than well, unfortunately. Although there are wellness benefits to THC, smoking is not good for you, and I think over a long period of time, THC and its psychoactive uses can dull the mind, fog your memory, shorten it, and you're just not as sharp. You're cloudy headed. And I think that's a real effect of it over time. However, it does help a tremendous amount of people. So there are pros and cons. But really, CBD, its non-psychoactive properties, really just the wellness properties of the cannabis plant, um, seem to not be taking off like they used to. But I think that's something that's going to be changing within the next 3 to 5 years. There's some stuff in Congress right now that's going on for moving cannabis and CBD from a Schedule One drug to Schedule Three. And if that passes officially, that will give the FDA a green light to study it for medicinal purposes without any restrictions. So that's going to be huge if that happens. I pray it happens. I think it would be tremendous for this country and for the rest of the world. I think it's going to give it a lot of validity, and people are going to start to realize, oh, you know, 3 to 5 years time, we're going to be able to buy. This is my prediction: FDA products in the pharmacy, FDA approved CBD products. I think it would be tremendous. Um, and I'll just end with this. I know there is one FDA approved CBD product. It's called Epidiolex, and it is for two rare forms of childhood epilepsy. But they found that
Mm.
CBD is proven to work for those two rare forms. So that is currently the only FDA approved CBD product. So there is definitely hope for more in the future.
Thank you so much for sharing. And actually, I got some comments from people that are watching. So I had the first thing. I'll be test subject.
Subject. Well, you don't have to be a test subject, try it out, see what you think. Make sure whatever CBD you are purchasing, get it from a good source. Make sure you could see the lab test results, Um, where it's not, it could be a trial for you, but as far as the industry itself, it's readily available. Just make sure that whatever company you're going with, make sure that everything is up to standard and that they're legitimate.
Yeah, I agree. And also this one, I like this one. I love CBD. It works great to become fine. Doesn't get you high though.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad that, thank you, Harbinger. Yeah. Yeah, it does work great, and it's especially it works great if you're not intoxicating your system with other things such as alcohol or pills or cigarettes. Nicotine is a big thing because nicotine restricts your blood vessels and CBD increases your blood flow. So if you're polluting your system with other chemicals, CBD is definitely going to have a less of a benefit for you. Even if you do smoke marijuana or take edibles, THC, you might find that CBD is less potent for you.
Yeah, the thing that came up to me, Brandon, was I saw a video with a child that has Parkinson or epileptic diseases or epilepsy.
Yeah,
And the father was really struggling to find solutions for how to reduce it, that it makes feel better. And also with medication, it didn't work out. And then he tried THC or CBD, and he saw that his child was calming down. And it was just so mind blowing to me that they tried so many things, and just that product, what Mother Nature provide to us, just you saw the child calming down. It was really twitching, and then you saw, or people with Parkinson, they you saw it calming them down and they start to function normal. It's like, wow, just
yeah,
so powerful. And with big pharma and all of that, they don't want us to have it because we get better, we feel better. But it was just so mind-blowing. And like you said, with the magical stories, I think a lot of people can relate and see like it's really powerful.
yeah, absolutely. I've heard the same thing about people with living with Parkinson's, how cannabis, CBD, or even THC has helped these people with their tremors. It's incredibly powerful. There's actually a video out there on YouTube that you can find, and you can actually see the difference in the person. It's a powerful video. It's incredibly inspiring for anybody living with that or is has somebody that they love that is living with that. It's a powerful video. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of what you shared, Brandon. But I wanted to ask, what is the difference between THC and CBD?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the main difference, what I tell everybody, is THC is the psychoactive compound in the cannabis plant. So that's the one that gets you high. That's the classic thing. That's what all the propaganda in the 50s and 60s was about. The devil's lettuce, that kind of thing. That's THC. That's the thing that's getting you high. Um, that's the thing that's making your eyes turn red. Really, what the eyes turning red, really all that is increased blood flow. Your veins are getting wider. So, in a way, that's a good thing because you want to increase blood flow. But that's um that's THC. CBD is the non-psychoactive compound. So you're not getting high with CBD and it's non-habit forming. THC, a lot of people say that, oh, it's not addictive. You can't get hooked on pot. You absolutely can get hooked on pot. You know, it could be very addictive and it could be a coping mechanism that becomes unhealthy. And it slows you down and it makes you uninspired and it makes you complacent. So it's definitely an addictive thing. Can it lead? People call it a gateway drug as well. Um, I think yes and no. I think if you're thinking about, if you were to try weed, and then you were to go and do harder drugs from there, I think that's a deliberate decision you're making. But at the same time, it can lead to that. But calling it a gateway drug is a pretty aggressive thing. Um, those are the two main differences. Also, THC has a bit of a wider range of cannabinoids than CBD does. Um, just something to keep in mind if anybody was looking at products that maybe had a ratio to them. CBD, THC, that's a very popular thing now. Taking edibles, or a tincture or an oil that has a ratio, 5 to 1 or whatever. Those are very big now. They even have drinks now that have the
Mhm.
ratios of CBD, THC that are very popular. And I will say, if anybody is preferring THC, try doing CBD alongside it and see how much better your experience is. Really, they work together incredibly well. And if anybody's wanting to transfer over from strict THC to CBD, try transitioning with those ratio products. You might be pleasantly surprised on the effects that you feel, whether it's for chronic pain, inflammation, anxiety, panic attacks. See what that feels like. It's worth experimenting.
Yeah, for sure. And to be honest, I also have THC and I never got addicted to it. And I just do a drop like in the morning and I drop like 2 or 3 drops before I go to sleep. And I never had the need to go back like, oh, I feel so nervous. I need the drops now, or I never had that. I sleep good and I don't have the desire to grab it. Maybe it's a different or it's another volume or something like that. Maybe it's not, the doses are lower. I don't know, but I never felt really the addiction. But what's really interesting, what the question came up to me, Brandon, was I always learn about the plant to smoke. So it was always smoking. Everywhere I live in the Netherlands, and in the Netherlands it's been a long time that it's legal. So you can smoke it, you can have brownies, we call it space cake. And I never tried it. I should, but it was only in Amsterdam. If you wanted to have that, or you can make it yourself. But if you really want to try it, you go to Amsterdam. But I was always about the smoking the weed.
Yeah.
But then I discovered the oil, and it was just wow. And I was so or like more like baffled. Like, why don't we hear about it in the past? Why is the rise coming up now from the oil? Why so suppressed all these years?
I think that has to do with technology. The
Mm.
oil is far more concentrated, so we've worked out a way now to make it more, the whole filtration process to make it compressed into an oil form, and just touching on the addiction for a second, a lot of the times if people get addicted to a substance, they have an addicted personality. So it's not only with the substance, but it might be with an array of other
Mm,
habits they have in their life as
interesting.
well. So that's just something to keep in mind, aside from um, a drug being inherently addictive. I think a lot of it has to do with addictive personalities in people. And addiction's a scary word for doctors too. I've had doctors definitely get a little bit upset with me using that word. So am careful how I talk about addiction, because I respect doctors and what they do. I'm not here to disprove any of that. Um, but at the same time, they don't teach about the endocannabinoid system, the ECS system in med school. That's the system that we have, other animals have, uh, cellular receptors that latch onto these molecules within the cannabis plant. That's why we feel the effects. Um, but yeah, I think really you're seeing more oil now just because the technology, the scientists have figured out how to make it in that form more abundantly
Mm.
now. And it's a more highly concentrated way to ingest cannabis. Same with if you were to take an ingestible like a gummy or a chew. I prefer to call them chews. Gummies have a bit of a negative connotation, Oh, I took a gummy, I got really high, blah blah blah. I prefer to call them chews. Um, but a lot of the time, people don't know what chews are. Was that a dog treat or something? So, um, but yeah, that's just something I like to break down. There's a lot of negative associations with the stuff in the industry, so it's important to educate yourself. You can't always listen to, don't get your news from Facebook, get your news from a reliable source. There's a lot of false information that's advertised out there. Um, and I just want to say, we're talking about this here and everything. Um, I can't make any claims that this can can fully solve a problem in your life. It's almost like taking vitamins. This is a supplement to add to your wellness routine. I can't make a claim that it's going to eliminate anything in your body, any pain, any mental fatigue. I can't claim that. It wouldn't be appropriate for me to. It's not FDA approved. It's not scientifically backed in that way yet. I think it will be eventually, but I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, I agree. It's better not to have claims on your back. So
Yeah,
yeah,
compliance is key. Yeah.
but I agree. The thing is, you need to try it for yourself because maybe some people do it. And it's like I don't feel anything, and some people are like, wow, it just transformed my life. And it's really you need to try it out. And for me, it was the same. Like me, I felt it. I felt it in my heart that I wanted to do it. I wanted to try it out. I wanted to see what it does, and I have the benefits. I feel really good about the product, what it does, and how I feel. So that's really the preference. And a lot of people say, well, I will look for something else, but it's really overlooked the power of the plant. And I also seen a documentary like a couple of months ago. I think it was in Argentina. There were a few moms, and they didn't have any jobs, and they saw a mother doing it, and they helped her, and then it grown in a huge business and helping a lot of people. It was such an interesting documentary, and that's how I got so fascinated, and that I wanted to have you on the show because we need to talk about it more.
Yeah.
Because usually pop the pill and then you're done, but it has side effects or it has another problem that can rise up from the pill. So I want to not say, okay, don't do it, don't get to do the doctor, because if you have a problem, you need to see him. But we talk about there's also an alternative. There's also other ways for you to check out so you can try it out and see if it works for you. And that's so powerful that we can choose what works for us, that we can choose what can help us. And yeah, I felt like sometimes I also gave the THC to a colleague, and I told him his wife was also sleeping really bad. So I said she should try it, but she got really scared. She got really scared, like, oh, I don't want to do it because I'm really afraid I get addicted, or I get afraid that I just need it always when I want to sleep. And I said, I don't feel it. And but for other people, it's good that you said that there's also a way that you can be addicted to it. But she didn't even try. And I felt, I
Mm,
told him that's so sad that she didn't even try it, because weed, when you say weed, is, oh, I'm gonna get addicted or I'm gonna get high.
right.
But it's really the doses, how much you use, and really use your mind. Like, if you take it, don't like put like drops in your mouth, and you need to be smart. Like, put it on your hand, see how much it is on your hand. Say, okay, I'm gonna try just one drop, see how I feel. The next few days, I'm gonna do two, see how I feel, and not just go like, oh, I want to go high and I take 5 drops. And that's not the case. That's not why you use this product. You need to do it for health benefits, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, and I've had that experience as well. Customers coming and calling me up and saying, "Hey, I want to try this," and then they purchase, and I follow up with them. I always like to follow up in a couple weeks' time because that's usually a good time period for they've gotten a chance to try it. It's been in their system for a little bit, and it has happened a few times now where I follow up and they still haven't tried the product just because it's out of fear of them being nervous. And it's, no matter how many times you tell somebody sometimes and you show them other people's experiences and um, they have to overcome that fear themselves and realize that no, this isn't psychoactive. It's not like smoking pot. Um, this is, a supplement to help you cope with whatever it is that you were looking for. Was it pain? Was it inflammation? Was it arthritis? Was it sciatica? Was it a herniated disc? Is it an ankle pain? Or was it your anxiety? Are you really stressed in the morning, for work related stress? Is it, the kids in the afternoon? Is it too much to manage and you just need to be a little bit more calm and so you could do your work? You know, and it's sad, but at the same time, people will come around to it when they're ready. I never pressure anybody, um, but people do need to be willing to take that chance to try it out, without that fear. And I will say, we do two different kinds of products currently. We do full spectrum and we do broad spectrum. And this is a bit of a confusing point for some people. So I just wanted to explain this. Full spectrum CBD is our CBD products that have zero point 0.3% or less THC in them. So that is not a psychoactive amount. However, you do get a bit of a wider range of cannabinoids with that zero point 0.3. Broad spectrum is in the process, THC is completely extracted and it's 100% CBD. There is 0% THC in broad spectrum. So currently we have both products. We are making the transition to completely broad spectrum. It's a lot friendlier to market. There's less red tape and legal ramifications. Um, and it's just friendlier all around to completely not deal with THC, at least in this current climate. But also, I really don't have any interest in THC. I really want people to realize the benefits of just pure CBD and see how powerful it really is and how it can change their health routine. So just something to keep in mind. I think that is a confusing point for a lot of people. I know when I first started learning about it, I'm like, wait, what's the difference here? So broad spectrum is 0%, full spectrum is 0.3% THC.
So, Brandon, why do you think people are afraid to use it? Is it really the fear of being addicted to it?
I think it's the fear of the unknown. Somebody who's
Mm.
never, experienced having that high before, that psychoactive effect. It could be a very scary thing. Um, And so I really think it comes to the fear of the unknown of feeling what that high feels like. Um, and so with our 0.3% products, the full spectrum, for example, our tinctures are full spectrum, sublingual under the tongue. So they have zero point 0.3. So if you were to drink, a lot of that tincture, you're going to feel woozy. You're going to feel a little bit something. However, if you take one dose or less, so it's always recommended you start with one dose or less, never more than one dose, just to kind of see where you land. It might take some trials before you figure out, oh, okay, this is the sweet spot for me, you know. Um, because you don't want to do too much and then feel, oh wait, I feel a little woozy, I feel a little weird. With broad spectrum, you won't feel wooziness or anything weird like that. With full spectrum, if you were to take too much, you could feel a little bit funny. So just something to keep in mind, but we are phasing out the full spectrum. But to answer your question, I think it's the fear of the unknown. Yeah.
Well, actually, I have a really funny story to share because I had a birthday like 10 years ago, and I had a friend and he was smoking weed, pot. And I was so drunk that I smoked so much. And I got into my hotel room and I started to laugh all over the place. And suddenly I got really scared because I lost control. My body was just automated. So in my mind was like, what's going on? What's going on? I have no control. I have no control. My body was like, ah, ah, ah. And I was like, I got really scared because I couldn't do anything. And in my mind, I was like, oh no, if I don't anything go bad. And then I fell asleep and then I woke up on the toilet naked and I said, done. Never again I smoke weed, ever. And
Mm,
I learned that lesson. So I can understand that people, the fear of it, because that was my cure that night. But again,
yeah.
when you do it like in small ways, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's really to test your limit. How far can I go? And if you don't feel good about it, if your inner feeling says don't do it, or I I I don't want to go to the next level, don't do it. Trust your feeling. But I had to share that story because I felt so sad and so bad that day afterwards. But the most thing that I feared a lot was I lost control. My
Yeah.
mind was like, "Oh no, what's going on?" And my body was just out of control. I was like, "Oh." It was a bad experience.
No, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, no, that's a great example of how if you do get high, some people do lose control of their motor skills, that they lose control.
Yeah,
They feel like they're not in control anymore. And I think that goes back to the unknown. People like to be in control naturally.
yeah,
They want to be in control of their mind and their body. Um, so I think that the fear has to do with loss of control, really. But that's a powerful story that you share your experience with that. I think that's a lot of people's experience. Um,
yeah.
trying marijuana. But um, to get off the subject of THC and going back to THC and trying the doses, never feel always listen to your gut. Never feel pressured from a colleague, a friend, or a family member to take more than you feel is right within you. It's always a good idea, like you mentioned, start small and work your way up. Never do a lot and then work your way down, because then you're going to have a negative experience most likely.
And then you quit.
And then you don't try it again and you never realize, oh,
Yeah.
potential of something that might have been able to help you. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I was super drunk, and my body was like, "No, not too much, not too much." Yeah, whatever. And I just smoked the whole thing. So I was like, "Okay, lesson learned.
It
Don't
happens.
smoke weed when you're drunk."
Yes.
But again, it's the fear of the unknown, and that's also in my journey. I had so much. I wanted to have so much control in my life, and I felt like I need to let go and try new things. And
Yeah.
now I feel like, okay, when I do it in small portions, I will see how my body reacts. And a friend of mine, she said the same. If you drink tea or you eat something that's super new, take a small bite and wait, because you don't know how your body is going to react to it. And that's really good advice that she gave me, that I also want to share. If you do something like this or something else, like you drink new tea or something like that, or what Brandon is sharing with us, take a small bite and see what it does for you, and then you can build on it, like Brandon said. And that's so powerful. That's the best advice that she gave me that day.
That's incredible advice. Yeah. Always whenever you're trying anything new, a little bit at a time, pace yourself. Yeah. That's great advice. It's a good friend.
Yeah, for sure. I don't talk to her as much as I would be, but yeah, I think we're on our own journey, and I might contact her again. But yeah, I really, this is always so fascinating. So, how much did you learn about it, Brent? I'm really curious. Did you like go into the books? Did you try new things? Did you talk with a lot of people? How did that journey go for you?
Really, all of it. I was thrown into the fire in the beginning. I really didn't know too much. So, talking to people, reading up on it, reading about all of our current products, all the ingredients, what the ingredients do, and expanded on it from there. Started going to some workshops on CBD and people in that industry, and just hearing information, of being a sponge, um, you know, with the Office of Cannabis Management, in New York State here, you have to be licensed. So getting that squared away, that was already squared away, but, redoing that application to renew the form, you learn a lot about regulations that way. There's a tremendous amount of information that I absorbed in a short period of time. And so it's really everything. Um, it's so funny because, I remember being in a position where, I don't know too much about this. I have a lot to learn. And now I feel like I'm at the point where you're always learning more. There's never a point where you stop learning. I believe in the concept of, the eternal student, to always learn, to never stop being willing to learn. I think once you stop willing to learn, it's you're shooting yourself in the foot. You always want to be absorbing new information. Um, Hopefully it's information that is for the good of mankind and humanity, um, and for health and science, of course. But yeah, it before I knew it, I was really enveloped in the industry, learning about it, learning about the all the compliances with the OCM, the Office of Cannabis Management. We have a great attorney, a cannabis attorney, who I've learned a tremendous amount from, uh, and just my own research on it. There's a lot that's always changing, on a monthly basis with the industry. Um, and also just a lot from contacting businesses and seeing where they're at, where their heads at. That's taught me a lot about the industry itself too. Um, a lot of people aren't open to it, but the ones that are open to it are already invested in CBD in their personal lives. They know the power of it. And those are the people that I love to target. Those are my ideal clients, to get in front of. So a lot of those clients happen to be massage therapists, physical therapists, athletes. I'll actually, believe it or not, a lot of people in senior communities, 55 and older communities. A lot of
Mm.
our clients are actually seniors, late 50s and up. It's
Mm.
funny to call people seniors in their 50s. They're not. I think a senior is considered 65 and up. Um, but yeah, learned a tremendous amount that way, just from doing the job itself. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's so good to hear that you're helping a lot of people, and it's your passion. And it's not like, oh, just for me to make a profit and that's it. You really want to help people and share as much as you can so people can change their lives. So yeah, thank you so much for doing what you do.
Thank you. Yeah.
So Brandon, I have the question that was really powerful that I wanted to ask you is why is the right, let me check. Why can it be the right option for you to try CBD?
Great question. Well, I think you'll know it's the right option when you're somebody who has tried multiple avenues, whether it be going to doctor and trying. Let's pick one avenue, for example. Let's pick the avenue of anxiety. Person goes to a psychiatrist or to their regular doctor and says, "Hey, I'm suffering from severe anxiety. Sometimes it's hard to get out of the bed in the morning because I'm so anxious. I don't want to do anything. Um, you know, I'm afraid to commit to anything. Making decisions at work, it's impeding in my work life." Um, that person might first start with trying different prescription medications for anxiety, whether it's an SSRI or, Wellbutrin. Um, Hypothetically, let's say that doesn't work. They try something, they get further depressed from that not working. They go to alcohol. Alcohol makes them jovial for a little while, maybe in the evening they're able to relax, but it starts affecting their sleep. After that, they try, maybe they could go the extreme route and, maybe try a pill or something, um, like a Xanax, for example. But it either makes them feel like they're losing control, or they could see the potential of this. Oh, this feels good. This might get out of hand. That's an extreme thing, but so those three steps, they tried those three things, but they know that none of them are sustainable, and um, they're at a crossroads now. And then they discover something like CBD, which you know, they might have heard about a little bit, but they don't know too much about. So there's an element here where you have to take a bit of a chance to see what works. Obviously, they took a chance with the previous two things, but those two things have been kind of in our society for widely known in our society for a lot longer than CBD, the benefits of CBD have been. Um, so you try CBD out, and you realize now, okay, my anxiety has decreased. My sleep, I'm sleeping longer in the evenings. I'm waking up less throughout the night. Um, and this is non-habit forming. I don't feel like I need to take this. It's not making my body, I like when I say, when you were drinking alcohol, you started to get bodily pains in the morning, hangovers. There's no hangovers with CBD. Um, Unless you were to take too much, of course, I think you could get hungover from anything. But people have food hangovers. You know what I mean? Um, from eating too much food. But so you try those three things, then you try CBD, and you realize, oh, okay, this can be something that I see as a sustainable health routine for me, just like taking vitamin C, vitamin B12, whatever. Um, so I think people will know when the right time is after they've tried several different things. Maybe one of them was a possibly a good route with the prescription medication, but then they got frustrated and resorted to maybe some heavier drugs and realize or substances, and you know discovered CBD, and it helped them in their life. I think everybody's on their own individual journey. Uh, I just want to make sure the resources are available to people who are struggling, and let them know that there is alternative holistic options. So people will know in their life when the time is right, but they have to be exposed to the information too. So, and unfortunately, the exposure to it is tricky because Meta doesn't allow cannabis advertising. Google, currently in New York State at least, doesn't allow any ingestible advertising, such as topicals or
Mm.
chews. Not topicals, I'm sorry, ingestibles like CBD oils, tinctures, any sublingual. Those are considered ingestibles as well. So it makes it a little tricky, but there are ways to work around that and still be compliant. Um, but everybody's on their own path. Yeah, you have to. There's a certain point where you do have to figure it out yourself and take that chance.
Yeah, I agree. The cool thing about it is, or the universe will provide it, or people like you will do it. Like, hey, I want to expose it more, I want to share it more, and the right people will find it. Or when people are needing it, they will search on their own and look for answers, and they bump onto your post, or they go to from a friend, or mouth to mouth commercials. There's always ways. For me, it's the same. I found it on social media and I didn't know. And he took the courage to talk about it, to share about it. So even though he got shut down from Facebook because they don't like it,
Yeah, they don't like it.
still he kept on going.
Yeah, that's because he knows that there's a greater good for this stuff.
Exactly.
That's what it is. Yeah, this is not to bring down people. This is to help lift them up and give them an option.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. Not everybody realizes that just yet, and you can't really blame them. A lot of that stigma and the misconception and the propaganda is still in a lot of these people's minds, especially in the older generation. Um, so it's going to take a while to step out, but it's up to future generations now to really bring
Yeah.
to light the benefits.
And also, you need to be open to it. If you're not open to new things or new ways for you to heal yourself or to have benefit on your health, like then it's not gonna help you. There's not gonna have any benefits. Then you're just gonna stick in the old ways, or you're gonna do old things that's not gonna help you. So I always say, try it out, and if it doesn't work out, then at least you tried. Then you'll know. The same when you want to talk to girls and you want to get rejected. If you don't ask her out, then you don't know. It's the same with a product or a business or whatever you want to do. You need to try it out. And if it doesn't work, then you know and you can do something else. But the point of this is we want to share how powerful this product can be and how it can benefit your life. I've seen it with myself. I've seen it with my other friends. With my friend, actually, he had sleeping problems and I gave him 2 drops, and he said, "I slept like a rock. If there was an earthquake, I wouldn't hear it." And he slept for so bad for months. And then I realized I really need to talk about this more. And I'm really grateful and honored that you are here, Brendan, and share this all with us. So that's you can really see how powerful these products can be, even though if it's CBD or THC or whatever you feel is important that you want to try out, at least try it out and see if it works for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not deadly. Even if you were to take
It's
too much,
from nature.
it's
It's
from
it's a
nature.
nature plant. It's a plant.
It's a plant. It's not deadly. It's not going to kill you.
No.
Um, you know, so those are probably the two most important things to keep in mind if you're scared.
Yeah, for
Nothing
sure.
bad is going to happen to you. Um, it's a powerful plant. And being in CBD is a difficult industry just because of the pushback you get, not
Yeah.
only with regulations, but with people's skepticism. But, once when people come around to it and realize, oh, wait, this is actually helping me, it makes the whole struggle worth it. Um, it's tremendous. And, I think people in the wellness industry have an obligation to help each other out. For example, I someone at the vitamin shop called me the other week because I went in there, and they don't sell CBD at the vitamin shop. They used to have their own store brand, but with the regulations, they discontinued it. And so I give her my information, and said, if anybody comes in asking for it, feel free to refer me, and sure enough, what happens is that, and made a great relationship from it. So I think there's an obligation for all holistic health practitioners to support one another and help build this community of awareness of health. And um, it's kind of a duty, it's a duty for us to do that.
Yeah, and I'm really grateful. And that's the cool thing. That was also I had a story that there's a bio store, and they said to other people like, "Hey, you should try CBD or THC." And I was like, "Whoa!" So these stores, these bio stores, also recommend now these plants or these herbs or these oil. So it's like you said, the awareness is coming now after the COVID. It's like people are waking up more. They're interested in more things and stuff like that. So that's good. There's an awakening.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of skepticism. It's like, okay, I want to try, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid I'm gonna get addicted, or I'm afraid it doesn't work out, or whatever they think. But it's also the conditioning that's been talked to ourselves or by other people. So sometimes you need to put that on the side and try it for yourself so you can make that judgment for yourself. Say, okay, what other people said, I don't care. I'm gonna try it. And also, I've seen a lot of people, they were so afraid of it for years, and then they tried it and they said, "Oh, I wish I did this sooner. I wish I did this sooner." So don't let yourself down by fear or by what other people think or said to you. You need to take your own leadership in this and say, okay, I'm going to try it. And if it doesn't work out, then at least I tried, like I said. So that's my advice that I want to give. At least try so you will know. So I want to go a little bit into the health benefits, and then I want to talk about a little bit about your products,
Sure.
and then we're going to put it close to a wrap.
Yeah, sounds good. So, as far as health benefits go, well, there's a wide range of them. So, really, what I recommend is, like I was saying, at D&D CBD, we deal with three different molecules from the plant: CBD, CBN, and CBG. So CBD, I really recommend for overall relaxation, overall wellness. It's very good for anxiety, but it's also good for inflammation. So CBD has a lot of crossovers in the benefits of what it can do. Now, a molecule like CBN is specifically, we found with customers' feedback and just from uh, just general customer usage records in the industry, CBN has been shown to be helpful with deeper sleep. And then CBG has been shown to be helpful with inflammation, also focus as well, but very helpful with IBS, Crohn's disease, digestive health, as well as arthritis. I've had clients that have taken CBG for arthritis in their arms, herniated disc surgery, in conjunction with their medication after asking their doctor, felt a noticeable difference, which was really cool to hear. I had never heard anything like that yet. After, a little over a year and a half, someone who took a CBG tincture in conjunction with their medication from their back surgery, after being approved by their doctor, hey, you can do this. Um, so that was really cool that it made a difference for him. So those are some of the health benefits, but they range from muscle and joint pain relief, recovery, um, anxiety attacks, sleep disorders, digestive health, mental clarity and focus. Um, those are like all the precursors to wellness, really. Um, yeah, insomnia, sleep conditions. If you're not getting a good night's sleep, your whole day is essentially going to be pretty miserable. Getting a good night's sleep is everything. Um, you know, so they're all incredibly important things to be aware of in your life and take care of if you want to feel like you have energy, like you're able to sustain yourself and be in a good frame of mind. It's important to keep those things top of mind. Um, so yeah, those are just some of the benefits. Yeah.
So what are the type of clients that come to you, say, Brandon, I have this problem. Do you have something for me that can help me?
Yeah. So a lot of my clients, they come to me because of anxiety, um,
Mm,
depression sometimes. I will say CBD is not a cure for depression. Depression is a condition that's really brought on by life and society and pressures of the way the world is. Or maybe something tragic happens in your life. There's healthy ways to cope with it and there's unhealthy ways to cope with it. But anxiety is a tremendous one. Arthritis, inflammation, knee pain is a huge one. Um, and lower back pain is also a big one. So I would say the big things that clients come to me with are anxiety, knee and back pain, and
mm.
also sleep. Sleep is huge. So those four things really. Knee and back pain I'll put into one thing. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, yeah. So so for example, for the arthritis or for the knee pain or back pain, there's two things I'd recommend. And, we have a cream. It's really a salve. It's a bit coarser than a cream. It's full spectrum. It's 4,000 milligrams in a 2-ounce jar. Topical use, localized pain relief. I would also recommend, if they didn't want to go the cream route, they could do the sublingual CBG route for reduced inflammation. Of course, if they want to, get the entourage effect, combine the two, that's even better. Do the cream and the topical. I'm sorry, do the cream and the sublingual. So you can always stack these products to get increased benefits. For something like the sleep, I highly recommend the CBN oil under the tongue, or even the CBD oil can help with that as well. For something like, oh, I'm having a hard time relaxing at the end of the day, I definitely recommend our CBD oil. So it's really how you want to take it. The oils are more concentrated than the ingestibles we have. Like we have our chews, our gummies, which is broad spectrum, 0% THC. And that has a similar benefit effect to our 12,000 milligram CBD oil. Um, it's a wild berry watermelon flavor, 120 milligrams of CBD per chew. Um, Relaxation. If you take 2 to 3 at night, it can really help with sleep as well. So a lot of these products do have they bleed into each other's benefits a little bit. There's a lot of crossover, but some molecules are more kind of targeted at one specific condition than others are. Um, of course, our patches increased mobility. I've had clients use our patches for their panic attacks, and the panic attacks have subsided. Which is a tremendous difference. I had one client tell me, "Yeah, I was having 5 panic attacks a week. Like if I get 1 to 2 now, that's what's been happening." So
Oh, wow.
that's a big difference. And a panic attack is a severe
Yeah.
thing to live with. It feels like you're dying essentially. So that's a huge difference. Um, and of course, I don't want to. So we have our three oils, we have our two topicals, the cream and the patches, we have our gummies, and I don't want to forget, dogs and cats as well have an ECS system too. So if your dog suffering from hip and joint pain, a lot of bigger dogs do, especially the older ones after all those years of compression, jumping off the deck, off the bed, off the couch, whatever. um, Hyper anxious dogs, they freak out when you leave for the day. Can help subside that, calm them down. And important to keep in mind, you're not intoxicating your dog. These are all natural products. All of our products come with a lab test result breakdown. They're third party lab tested, no toxins, heavy metals, chemicals. So it's, like I said earlier, about 40 minutes ago, know what you're buying. Make sure you know where the hemp is sourced from. Make sure that you can gain access to a COA. If you should always have access to that, but if you want to see it, it should be available to you, just so you could see exactly what you're putting in your body or your pet's body. Um, we do plan to tack on a couple more products. I did mention cats. We don't yet have a cat oil, but it's been requested and it's in the works, as well as a CBG isolate powder, which you could add to your breakfast, oatmeal in the morning, or a protein shake or a smoothie. And that will help with inflammation, mental clarity, and focus. CBG is really powerful for that. So I think that will be a really popular product once we get that rolling, just because it's so easy. You just add a
Yeah.
scoop of it into something. Yeah,
Oh, it sounds really amazing, Brandon. Really, it's like wow. I've seen it on the website, and it's such a good website and such powerful product. So yeah, I'm looking forward to actually buy it in the future and just try it out. It's yeah, it's so powerful. Also, the things that you're saying and the research that I did and heard from other people, it's so powerful. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. The last thing that I wanted to ask you, Brandon, is because I've been an addict for pornography for a long, long time, and it brought a lot of anxiety and panic attacks towards women. Can it also be beneficial for men that also are addicted to porn and people want to have like more like the tendency of I don't want to go there. I want to relax. I want to relax towards women. Is that also can they have also benefit when they use your products?
sure. I definitely think that there could be a benefit to that, because you're looking for something to relax you, to de-stress you. And in this case it is the pornography. But if you wanted to replace that with a natural supplement to help you relax and de-stress without doing that addictive act, I think it could definitely be a powerful replacement. It's certainly worth trying. I can't make any claims, of course, but it
Yeah.
is definitely worth trying as a healthy option, to replace something like that. I think it could be very powerful. Yeah.
Awesome. That's good to know. If I have fallbacks or I need something that relaxes me, I know where to find you. So that's really cool. So, Brandon, yeah, again, thank you so much for this powerful episode. I really enjoyed every second. I looked forward when I talked to you and the pre-call and doing this episode. Yeah, it changed a lot about the products that you have, my mindset, the belief about the plant, even more how powerful it is, the miracle stories, the benefits. So it's super powerful, and I highly recommend for people to check your website out, the work that you do. So my final question, and then I want to go to the how they can find you. So I always ask these questions to my guests. Now we have a different kind of topic, but still, it's an important question, and it also brings the guest back to the mindset of where am I and where am I now today. So what I always ask: what was the lowest point in your life, and what was the most beneficial, the most exciting moment in your life? Most achieving.
Wow, wow. Lowest point in my life is probably going to be when I was at my heaviest depression, um, heaviest place of just not knowing where I was in life and finding God. Actually, uh,
Mm.
that was so that's the lowest and the highest point in my life. And the funny thing is, it happened in the same day, and suddenly everything just made sense. It was. I think everybody needs something to believe in, and I think it's really important to have a faith and to have a personal relationship, personal connection, personal line of communication with God. And so, I remember hitting my knees and really struggling and breaking down and talking with my dad and realizing that the idea of believing in God wasn't such a crazy thing anymore. Growing up in faith and everything, of course, you kind of do what your parents tell you and everything, and you don't really have an opinion for yourself. So, in your young adulthood, you kind of go through your own thing and figure out what you believe in. But I came back to faith, and everything has been better since then. So that's my lowest. And then my highest would be finding that faith again and realizing that life isn't pointless, there, help other people. There's something there, be good to people, treat people the way you want to be treated. And I think that's pretty much the thing to focus on. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I could have not said it any better. So thank you so much for sharing. So is there something you want to share with us, or you want to say something that you feel is important?
Well, I just want to thank you, Vincent, for having me on the podcast. What you're doing is great. I'm rooting for you, and I think you have a very bright future ahead. And I had a really great time and enjoyed this conversation and this chance to get to speak to you for over an hour. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I
And
know. Yeah, same.
so I'm really grateful for that. And for anybody out there listening or who will be watching this, look into CBD if you've been struggling with any of the things I had mentioned, or that Vincent and I had mentioned in the past hour. Feel free to reach out to me if you want to have a phone call about it. And you could find us on all social media at Healing with D&D CBD. So the @ sign and then Healing with D&D CBD. Give us a follow. And there's plenty to be read and digested about in the industry. So please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you for sharing, Brandon. Was there also, I think there was also in the back of my mind that you also had a free gift. Is that still available, or?
The free for anybody. What's the qual? I definitely can offer a free gift. Who would that be going to?
Yeah, it's for the listeners. If they want to, for example, they are interested or they want to learn more, they reach out to me? Can they reach out to you, or?
Oh, absolutely. They could reach out to. Well, if they reach out to you, then I'll know they're coming from you. So yeah, I
Okay.
can absolutely offer a free gift of our transdermal patches. It's a 30-day supply. They're waterproof. 16.5 milligrams of CBD. They're broad spectrum, so it's 0% THC. I'd be happy to offer anybody reaching out to Vincent or myself from hearing about it in this podcast and send you one as a free gift just to try out. And if you like it, let me know and we could talk more.
Awesome. Well, I put everything in the show notes, so when people feel curiosity or they want to try something new, they can always reach out to me or to Brandon. And I talked with Brandon for the first time, and I had a click with him, and just how he talks about the passion about the plant CBD. It's so powerful, and we need to support people like Brandon more, because if it spreads more people can have benefits. And it's not only about the money and making a profit. It's really about helping people to make their lives better, and they have a carefree life and not living in this stress or in this pain or whatever you're going through. That there's always a way for you to have a better life, but you just need to keep doing your research, try new things out, and see how it goes, and it will surprise you. I had so many surprises when I tried something. It's like, wow, I need to keep going with this because I feel good. I feel good. My life is changing. I'm more happy. I'm more going out. And it's all because I worked on myself. It's all because I tried new things. I always open. And that's why I wanted to talk to Brandon, because I'm open to this. I want to learn more. I want to expand my knowledge about the plant, about CBD, THC, and what it can benefit for me and other people that are listening. So that's why I wanted to do it, to have this interview with you, Brandon. And again, I really want to do it another time in the future, see if we can, like, how our journey has unfolded and how your products has changed, and more miracle stories and what you're discovering. So yeah, let's do another one in the future. So let's see if we can make that work up. The only thing is, I talked to Brennan and I said I'm gonna take a break from podcasting because I see it's really hard to build a business around it. So I'm gonna pivot to another something else that I want to do. But don't worry, I'll be back in the future. It's not that I'm gonna quit, but I feel like I need to make a change. And that's the thing. If you're gonna do the same thing over and over again and you're expecting different results, it's insanity. It's not gonna change your life and what you want to have and your goals and dreams. So I wanted to share that. Brandon, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation. You're so nice to listen to. You're really calm. You can explain everything really well. So I know you're really knowledgeable, and I felt the click right away to have you on the show. And I'm really grateful for you being here, sharing your story, your products, and how you're helping people. So yeah, thank you so much, Brandon.
Thank you, Vincent. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
For sure. So, guys, again, I hope you really enjoyed this episode. For me, this is one of the passions that I have, really learning about new things, about products, self-development, mindset. It's so important, not just knowing what's important for your body, but also knowing what's important, what you put in your head for knowledge. Like Brandon said, if you read something or want to learn something, go in deeper into the source and try to feel, use the inner compass. Is this relatable to me? Does this feel good? Do I want to try it out, and see where it brings you? It will give you the best moments in your life. And like Brandon said, it's really, really powerful when you're open to it. So yeah, again, thank you so much, Brandon. I'm looking forward to see you again in the future. I wish you all the best. And yeah, I will yeah, I'll put everything in the show note. And yeah, it was awesome. Really, really awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent.
So guys, take care, and I wish you all the best. And yeah, you will see me when you see me. So take care and all the good things. Bye.